Recently, Donald Trump was speaking to a conservative radio show host by the name of Mark Levin. If you guys don't know anything about Mark Levin, you should know that Ted Cruz thinks that Mark Levin should be a debate moderator for the GOP. Now, with that said, they decided to get into a discussion about Hillary Clinton, and the discussion was ridiculous. Take a look.
Well, she has a new hairdo. Did you notice that today?
That's called a wig.
Is that a wig? You're right. It must be. It was massive. You know, her hair became massive.
You know you're going to get in trouble now.
I don't care. But,
Okay.
but I don't care. But no, because I'm a person that tells the truth. It was very different, wasn't it? Did you like it?
Don't get me in trouble now.
Is Donald Trump having a conversation with me right now or with anyone about someone else's hair, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy looks like have you seen his hair? His hairline starts right here. Like
No, it's like an inch thick.
Like
It's like an inch thick.
Yeah.
It's like his hair is steadily fleeing.
I think it's a wig. I don't care. He's a madman.
Maybe he's trolling us. I don't mean like with that. Obviously, right there he is. Maybe the entire thing is a trolling. He's like, I want to see how absurd I can go before they finally call me on it. Talking about your hair, it would be like if he insulted another candidate for looking like a toad. Like, dude, that's you, man. That's you.
Oh my God, it's incredible. It would be like him criticizing John Boehner for having orange skin.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Or like, oh God, it would be like me saying, like, I don't trust that politician. He looks like a big-nosed skinhead. Like, no, there's certain things you don't get to insult people on if they're true about you, you fool. Chris Christie's like, look at the BMI on this dude. No, you have weaknesses. You have to accept them.
Now, with that said, Matt Drudge, who is the founder of the Drudge Report, highly conservative guy, decided to seize on this opportunity and basically put up all of these ridiculous tweets claiming that Hillary Clinton has a wig. All right, so there's one of them. Her hair looks perfectly fine to me.
Looks like normal.
Yeah. So
who cares?
This thing went way overboard when the chatter prompted celebrity gossip magazine People to call up Clinton's hairdresser to fact-check Trump's ridiculous claims, okay? Now, Santa Nichols, who apparently is the hairdresser, basically called this wig theory ridiculous and said Clinton has the most amazing hair in the world.
That sounds like a Trump quote, actually.
It's amazing.
Okay, so when Trump was on SNL, a group offered $5,000 to call him a racist. Like, that feels good, to call him a racist, for him to know that people know that he's a racist. I just want someone on live TV to get a grip on that and just pull and just see what happens, man. I'll give him $5,000. I literally will. If you do, I don't got $5,000, but I will borrow $5,000 to pay you if you get a grip on his head and just pull and let's just see what happens.
But here's the thing. I mean, first of all, if he purchased a wig that looks like that, I guess it's slightly worse.
That's a good point. It hasn't improved.
I don't think it's a wig. I feel like if he were to wear a wig, he would make a better decision. I think it is his natural hair, and he's just holding on for dear life. Holding on for dear life.
Look, we're not totally immune to criticizing politicians on their physical appearance, especially the more dreadful a person they are, the more we think we have free reign. Like, we make a ton of Chris Christie jokes.
I don't make the Chris Christie jokes.
You don't.
I actually think the Chris Christie jokes are super inappropriate, and I hate them.
Okay, well, I'm a flawed man. What can I say? This is one of my flaws.
Yeah.
But Trump in particular seems to, like, he criticizes women on their appearance constantly. And look, I'm not saying if you're gonna be a dick and you're gonna criticize people on their appearance, you should do it to both. You should not be sexist and only target one.
Yeah.
Criticize men as well. And I guess he did it to Rand Paul's hair. But just constantly, like, he had the Carly Fiorina thing at the last debate. He's talked about her multiple times. He's tweeted to women that they're cows and monsters. Eventually, it's got to hurt him.
So Cenk talked about the poll indicating that the general election would destroy him. Okay, so the vast majority of Americans know he's a clown. Okay, and that gives me some faith in humanity. But for anyone who might think that I have a double standard when it comes to Christie versus Trump and how I make fun of one and not the other, like, Christie doesn't go around calling people fat. Christie doesn't go around calling people cows. Trump goes around making fun of the appearances of other people without taking into account that he looks like a troll.